Hello everyone, my name is Ashish and welcome to the Xadmin channel. In the previous lecture we discussed about the inheritance concept and the relationship between the classes. So today we are going to discuss about the another OOPS concept, and guys, that is the polymorphism. So we are going to see the what is polymorphism, how many types of polymorphism, and how we can achieve the polymorphism. So guys, if we will see the polymorphism word contains the two word. The first is like the poly, okay, and the poly means many, and the second word is like the morphism and it means forms. So guys, the polymorphism means many form. Okay, so guys, the polymorphism in Java is a concept by which we can perform a single action in a different ways or in a different forms. So guys, it is a concept by which we can perform a single action in a different ways or in a different form. So guys, okay, so guys, the sum of the real world example of the polymorphism, if we talk about the real world example, then guys we can take the example of a water. And guys, the water is a real world example of the polymorphism, because guys the water can be in a liquid form, okay, it can be in a solid form, and guys it can be also in a gas form. So water is a real world example of the polymorphism. And guys, if I will talk about the another example, then we can take the example of a shapes. And guys, the shapes can be of a circle, okay, it can be of a triangle, it can be of a rectangle, okay. So guys, the shapes and the water are the real world example of the polymorphism. And in okay, and guys, in Java it is a concept by which we can perform a different means a single action in a different ways, okay. And now guys, the polymorphism in Java is like in Java we create methods and we change the form of a method. So guys, in Java if we want to achieve the polymorphism, then we can do that by the help of the methods, right? So guys, to achieve the polymorphism in Java, we can do that by the help of the methods, right? So now guys, we are going to discuss about the types of the polymorphism. So guys, there are the two types of the polymorphism, okay. The first type is like the name the compile time polymorphism, okay, compile time polymorphism. And second type of the polymorphism is like a runtime polymorphism. So guys, in Java there are the two type of the polymorphism. The first is the compile time polymorphism and second is the runtime polymorphism. And in Java the compile time is also called as a static polymorphism, okay. So guys, in Java the compile time is also called as a static, and the runtime polymorphism is also called as a dynamic polymorphism. So guys, it is very important, okay. So guys, the compile time is a static and a runtime is also called as a dynamic. Clear? And now guys, the important to understand in the polymorphism is how to achieve the compile time and also the runtime. So guys, to achieve the compile time polymorphism in Java, we can do this by the method overloading. So guys, with the help of the method overloading, okay, so guys, with the help of the method overloading, we can achieve the compile time or a static polymorphism. And guys, to achieve the runtime polymorphism or a dynamic polymorphism, we can do that by the help of a method overriding. So guys, to achieve the compile time or a static polymorphism, we can do this by the method overloading. And to achieve the runtime or the dynamic polymorphism, we have to do a method overriding. So guys, these are the two ways to achieve this type of polymorphism, right? And guys, the one important more thing is there, like guys, the compile time or the static polymorphism or the method overloading is handled by the compiler, okay. So that's why guys, it is called as a compile time polymorphism, because guys, this compile time polymorphism or a static polymorphism or a method overloading are handled by the compiler. And guys, a runtime polymorphism or a dynamic polymorphism or a method overriding is handled by the JVM. Okay guys, so guys, the compile time is handled by the compiler and the runtime is handled by the JVM, right? So guys, guys, this is important that the compile time is also called as static, and to achieve this compile time and static polymorphism we have to do with the method overloading. And guys, all these are handled by the compiler. And guys, the runtime and the dynamic is also okay. So guys, the runtime is also called as dynamic polymorphism, and we can achieve this by the help of the method overriding. And guys, this is handled by the JVM. Okay, so now guys, the next thing we are going to discuss about how to achieve the method overloading and how to achieve the method overriding. So guys, there are the certain rules for achieving the method overloading and method overriding. So now guys, we will discuss how to achieve the method overloading and overriding. So first of all, I will discuss how to achieve the method overloading, and after that I will discuss with you how to achieve the method overriding. So let's start with the method overloading. Okay, so guys, there are the rules for achieving the method overloading. So guys, the first rule is like, guys, in method overloading we create a multiple methods. So guys, the multiple methods should be of a same name. So guys, all the method which we want to do a method overloading should have the same name. Okay, so guys, the method should have a same name, right? Now guys, the second rule is like, all the methods should be present inside a same class. Okay, so guys, same class, it means that guys, all the method we want to do method overloading, all the method must be present inside a single class. Okay, so guys, this is the second rule for achieving a method overloading. And now we are going to discuss about the third rule, and third rule is like, guys, all the method argument must be different. So guys, we can achieve a method overloading by, like, guys, all the method which we want to do overloading must have a different argument. It means that guys, the methods must not have a same argument, it must have a different argument. Okay, so different argument. So guys, these are the three rules to follow to achieve the method overloading. So guys, I am repeating again. The first rule is like, all the method must have the same name, all the methods should present inside a same class, and all the method must have a different arguments. Okay, and guys, if I if I'll talk about the different argument, then guys, there are the three conditions to achieve the different arguments. And guys, to achieve the method overloading, we can satisfy any of the three conditions. Okay, so guys, the three conditions are like, the first conditions like, for the different argument, like the number of the argument must be different. So guys, the number of the argument is different, then guys, it will be fine for method overloading. So number of the argument must be different. So guys, the second condition for the different argument we can keep is like the sequence of the argument must be different. So guys, either you can make a number of argument different or a sequence of argument different. Okay, so guys, we have a third condition also. So guys, in this, guys, we can keep a different data type. So guys, here the different data type, different data types. Okay, so guys, these are the three conditions for a different argument, and guys, we can follow the any of these three. So guys, any one of the three we can follow, like the number of the argument must be different. So guys, we can keep the number of the argument different, or we can keep the sequence of the argument different, or we can make a different data types for the argument. So guys, these are the three rules for achieving a method overloading, right? So now guys, I am going to discuss with you how to achieve a method overriding. And guys, there are the certain rules to achieve the method overriding. Okay, so guys, the first rule to achieve the method overriding is like the method name should be same. So guys, here the method name should be same, the same like the method like the overloading we have discussed. Method name should be same. Okay, and guys, the second rule is like both the methods should be in a different class. So guys, as in the method overloading we discuss that the method should be in a same class to achieve the method overloading, but guys, to achieve the method overriding, the method should be on a different classes. Okay, so method must be in different classes. Okay, and the third rule is like both the methods should have the same argument. And guys, here as we have discussed in the method overloading, all the methods should have a different argument, but guys, in the case of the method overriding, all should have a same argument. Okay, so same arguments. Fine. And now guys, there are the certain rules or the condition to achieve the same argument. So guys, we can achieve the any of this condition, any one of this condition. And like the condition for the same argument is like the so guys, we can keep the number of the argument as same. Okay, or guys, we can keep the like the sequence of the argument should be same. So guys, we can keep the sequence of the argument as same. Okay, and guys, the third condition is like we can keep the same data type. So same data type of arguments. Okay, type of arguments, right? So guys, these are the rules to achieve the method overriding. And guys, there is one more rule that guys, both the classes should use the inheritance concept. Okay, so guys, here the inheritance concept should be used by both the classes to achieve the method overriding. So guys, these are the rules to achieve the method overriding, and this is the rule to achieve the method overloading. Okay, so guys, I am again explaining the rules for the method overriding. So guys, the two method names should be a same, and methods should like the method must be in a different class, and the method's name should be same. And guys, the third rule is like the method should have the same arguments, and the argument has a three condition. And guys, we have to achieve any of the one of these like the three conditions, like the number of the argument must be same. Okay, number of the argument same, sequence of the argument is same, and the same data type of argument. So guys, these are the three condition. And the last condition guys, the both the classes should use the inheritance concept. It means that guys, one class should extend the other class, and okay, to achieve the overriding. Okay, method overriding. So guys, in this guys, we have seen the rules of the method overriding and the rules of the method overloading. So guys, in this lecture I will discuss you how to achieve the method overloading with the help of a program. And guys, in the next lecture I will discuss how to achieve the method overriding with the help of a program. So guys, in this lecture we will discuss only a method overloading with the help of a program. Okay, so let us start a programming part to see how to achieve a method overloading. And guys, we will okay, and guys, we will follow the rules for achieving the method overloading. So let's go to our ID. And guys, here guys, I have already created a project. So let's create a new class, and let's keep this name as a method overloading. So guys, I have created a class with the name method overloading. And now guys, we are going to see why to use a method overloading first. So for that guys, I am going to create a method. So let's say I create a method with the name show Okay, and inside this method I am writing a system.out.println, and just I am showing a first show method. So guys, still here I have created a show method, okay, inside a method overloading class. And now guys, I'm going to create one more method with the same name. So let's say that I have created a show method with the same name, and guys, inside this method I am displaying like a second show method. Okay, so guys, in this class I have created a two method with the same name, and the name of the method is like shows. Okay, show. And guys, inside this method I have written a system.out.println, so like the first show method, and in the second method I have written a second show method, right? And now guys, I am going to create a main method inside this class. So let's create a main method, public static void main string args. Okay, so this is my main method, and guys, I am going to create the object of this class inside this main method. So let's create the object of this class, and the class name is method overloading, and let's keep it as a aim, as the aim as a object. Okay, and now guys, with the help of the new method I am going to create the object. So guys, I have created the object with the name m. So now guys, I want to call the method with the name show. So now guys, to call a method, we know that we can call the method with the name with the help of the object. So m dot show. So okay, so guys, here guys, you can see that the compiler will get confused that which show method to call, as both show method has the same name and the same argument. So here guys, ambiguity problem will arise. So guys, here you can see that in the information it is showing the ambiguous method call both, because guys, both the method have the same name and the same argument. So guys, here the compiler will get confused that to call to call the which method to call. So guys, here the ambiguity problem will arise. To guys solve this problem, okay, we have to use the third rule. So guys, here guys, if you will see the what rules we have discussed for the method overloading. So guys, here guys, the method should have the same name, and guys, we can see that we have a same name method with the show. Okay, and guys, the second rule is like the same class, and guys, we can see that all the methods are in a same class inside a method overloading, right? And guys, the third rule is like different argument. So now guys, we have to keep a different argument to achieve the method overloading. So guys, we can achieve this. So guys, the first of all I will show you how to achieve the method overloading by doing a different argument. And guys, I will use the first condition. The first condition is like the number of the argument must be different. So guys, here I am going to make a number of the argument different. So guys, to remove this ambiguity problem, we can implement the third condition of the method overloading, and the third condition is like the number of the argument must be different. Okay, so okay, so now guys, I will change the second show method. So let's change the second show method with the integer a. So guys, inside the second show method I am passing integer a argument. So now guys, here guys, you can see that the ambiguity problem has resolved, because guys, here we have achieved a method overloading. And guys, this is the example of a polymorphism. Okay, so guys, we have implemented a compile time like the polymorphism, and guys, we have achieved the compile time polymorphism with the help of a method overloading. And now guys, if I will run this program, then you can see that, okay, by mistake I run a different class. So we have a main method here. So let's run this class. Yeah, method overloading. So guys, here we can see that if I am calling m.show, then guys, it is calling the first show method. So it is giving us output first show method. And now guys, if I want to call a second show method, then we have to pass an integer. So let's pass 7 digit. So guys, now if I will run this program, So guys, after running this program, we can see that we will get an output as guys, the output is like the second so method. It means that it is calling a second so method now. So guys, to call a first so method, we don't have to pass any argument, and guys, if we want to call the second so method, then we have to pass the any digit here. So guys, this is example of the polymorphism, the compile time polymorphism by the help of the method overloading we have achieved. Okay, so now guys, I'm going to discuss the second condition of the third rule. And guys, the second condition of the third rule says, okay, so now guys, the second condition of the third rule says that is like the sequence of the argument must be different. So now guys, I'm going to change the sequence of the argument of the method, and we are going to achieve the method overloading. So let's go to our program, and now guys, here I will change the sequence of the argument. So guys, I will keep this program as it is, and I will change the sequence. So let's say that if I'm taking integer a as a argument and a string b as a second argument of the first so method, and here I am going to change the sequence, means first I will write a string a, then I will write an integer b. Okay, so guys, here you can see that we have both have a same name method like show, but it has a only sequence difference, means the sequence of argument is different. Firstly, it has the integer a and then string, and guys, in the second so method we have a string first and then the integer data type second argument. So guys, here we have seen that we have changed the sequence. So now now guys, to call a first so method, we have to pass the 7 and then we have to pass a string. So let's say that I am passing xadmin. Okay, so guys, by this guys, we can call the first so method because it is going to satisfy with the integer a and the string. So let's run this program and let's see the output what we are getting. So guys, here guys, we can see that we are getting the output as the first so method is called. So guys, to call a second so method, we have to change the sequence of the argument of the calling method. So guys, firstly I will pass as a string as an argument, and then secondly I will pass an integer. So guys, in this way I have changed the sequence. So guys, now let's run this program. So guys, we have seen that we got the output as a second so method. It means that guys, we are calling a second so method. So guys, this is example of the polymorphism, the compile time polymorphism. In this guys, we have used the second condition by changing the sequence of the argument. And now guys, I am going to show you example how to achieve the method overloading by having a different data types of argument. Okay, so now guys, I am going to discuss with you the third condition of the third rule. Okay, so let's go to our ID, and guys, here we have to keep a different data type. So let's keep the first so as of integer a, and now the second so method I am keeping as a string a. So guys, here you can see that the so method, the first so method has an integer type of data argument, and second so method has a string data type of argument. So guys, here I have changed a different data type of argument. So now guys, if I want to call the first so method, then we have to pass an integer here, and with this we can call a first so method. So guys, if we run, then guys, we can see that the first so method is displaying in the console. And now guys, if I want to call a second method, then we have to pass a string here. So guys, we can see that after passing, we can see that we are able to call a second so method. Okay, so guys, we are able to call a second so method, and guys, we have seen the example how to implement a method overloading by changing the data type of the argument. So guys, this is example of the compile time polymorphism, and we have achieved this by the help of a method overloading. And guys, I have already discussed you the rules of the method overloading, and guys, this is very important to understand to you. Okay, so guys, these are the three rules, and guys, I have shown you how to write a program to achieve like a compile time polymorphism with the help of a method overloading. Okay, so guys, I think I am done with this lecture of the compile time polymorphism, and I have discussed all the important okay, all the important points for you. So now guys, in the next lecture we will discuss how to achieve the runtime polymorphism with the help of a method overriding. Okay, and guys, we will write a program also for that. So guys, okay guys, thank you and have a nice day, and see you in the next lecture of the runtime polymorphism, and we will write a program to achieve the runtime polymorphism with the help of a method overriding. So thank you guys, see you in the next lecture.